Hello everyone, welcome to Arka Science, and today in this video I will be discussing the retrogression of Mercury which is going to take place in the sign of Taurus on 10th of May 2022. Few days back I had already made a video regarding the transit of Mercury into the sign of Taurus and its retrogression which is going to take place. But in this video I will be solely concentrating on the fact that the retrogression of Mercury is taking place in Taurus and its impact on all the 12 ascendant signs and the necessary guidelines to be followed or pondered upon, so that we can easily cope up with this planetary energy of retrogression of Mercury. Now, since Mercury is the planet of communication, our logical and analytical intelligence, our speech, our speaking abilities, our thought process, anything which we think of, any information or knowledge which we grasp, and what we think about it, how we process it, how we analyze it, regarding any situation which happens in our life, right from the morning to night when we go to sleep, whatever things comes in our mind and how we react to it, everything is Mercury. So it is a very important planet, and that is the reason that when Mercury retrograde take place, certain events related to these things comes up in our life. Maybe the things which we have ignored or which we missed in the past, those kind of things comes again and again in front of us. Or it may happen that during this particular retrograde, any mistake done by us, again it will come in front of us so that we can rectify it. We will get a second chance to work on it so that we can be much more better in that aspect of our life. Now, Mercury will be retrograde in Taurus and it will be within the sign of Taurus during this retrograde motion. It is not going to change the sign. So that means during this particular period of time, wheresoever the sign Taurus lies in our horoscope, that is going to be very important because it will be transited over by Mercury during this particular period. And this retrogression of Mercury will be till 3rd of June 2022. On 3rd of June, Mercury is turning direct, and then it will be slowly it will come in its own forward motion from 3rd of June onwards, and it will be going forward. On 2nd of July it will move into its own sign, Gemini. But when you are talking about the retrograde part, then we should be very much careful regarding this energy of Mercury from 10th of May till 3rd of June. Since we understand that Mercury rules over our intellect, our intelligence, our logical thinking, our analytical power, reasoning, that means whatever we understand, whatever we know, it may happen that during this particular retrogression, we may get a chance to introspect those things, to think about it, that any kind of information or knowledge which we had received, is it correct or not, or the thinking which are coming within us naturally, is it correct or not. So it is just like a second chance which Mercury is going to give us. Now, since it is happening in the sign of Taurus, which is a friendly sign to Mercury, that means here Mercury will be able to follow up the things much better than before. Looking into the fact that Lord of Taurus is Venus, and Venus is well disposited at this moment. Venus is exalted. So that means the dispositor of Mercury, Venus, is in good position. So this is also giving a hint that this retrogression of Mercury is going to bring some kind of good results for every one of us. Another thing, after the retrogression ends, Mercury comes in forward motion. It will be going towards its own sign, Gemini. So that means after the retrogression ends, it is just like that Mercury is just ready to go its own sign. So it is basically going to give you good results. And as usual, check this particular reading from your ascendant sign and from your moon sign. Definitely check from your ascendant sign first, so that you can be very much sure regarding how this transit is going to impact you physically in front of you. In front means, like suppose you are interacting with a person, your speech, your communicational abilities, that is Mercury. How it is going to impact you directly, that is your ascendant. And after you converse with that person, during that conversation, how it is impacting you emotionally, your mind, that is your moon sign. So first check from your ascendant, then check from your moon sign, and if you want more clarity, then check from your natal position of Mercury also, because since Mercury is turning retrograde, that will give you a fair idea that how this transit is going to be for you. But for every one of us, the amount of results obtained are different, correct? That means it has got something to do with our horoscope, it has got something to do with the natal position of planets, our dasa, and the yogas. So anytime if you want a consultation from me regarding your horoscope, regarding this retrogression of Mercury and how it is going to impact you personally with respect to your horoscope, and how it is going to impact you in your life, you can directly check the links in the description section. You can mail me through my email ID and get a personalized consultation from me regarding your horoscope, or regarding any type of questions which you had with respect to this retrogression or anything related to your horoscope. Okay, you can get an one-to-one consultation from me. Just check the links in the description section, and you can directly join to me through my Facebook and Instagram accounts also. And if you are new to this channel, then tap onto the subscribe button, click onto the notification bell icon, so that every time I make a new video, you get notified instantly. So on this note, I will start the video for all the 12 ascendant signs, and you should check it from your ascendant sign first, then check it from your moon sign, and to get another fair idea, you can check it from your natal position of Mercury also. Okay, come, let us start. For the Aries ascendant people, Mercury will be retrograde in your second house. Mercury happens to be your third and sixth lord. It is a very important planet because it rules over your efforts, your hard work, your courage, your communicational abilities. It rules over your third house, so it also has some links to do with your creative talents, your hobbies. It also deals with your sixth house energy. That means your how you deal with the challenges in the real life, disease, debts, any kind of enemies or enmities. That kind of energies can also be linked with Mercury in your chart. Now that Mercury is transiting through your second house of wealth, speech, family, and it is turning retrograde. So that means the first thing which has to be checked is that when you communicate with your family members, or when you communicate with your near and dear ones, you need to be very careful regarding your communication, regarding your speech. You should not say anything which is not conducive to you and your family happiness. That is the first thing during this particular retrogression of Mercury has to be checked. Secondly, since Mercury is going to turn retrograde in the house of wealth, and Mercury is the sixth lord, this is not a correct time to take any decision regarding wealth and finance. In fact, this is the time to look back regarding any kind of expenditures or spendings which you had in your past. New financial decisions and wealth management decisions, I will say this is not a correct time for that. In fact, if you can look back, you will be finding some more solutions to have better wealth management skills in the future. Since Mercury is transiting in the house of speech, wealth and family, it is very essential that during this particular time, whenever you communicate with your family members, or whenever you communicate regarding any matter regarding your family, wealth. Not only that, Mercury will be looking into your 8th house of your marital life, your in-laws. So that means when you are communicating, or when you are involving in these particular matters, you need to be very careful. Any decision regarding joint asset, fixed asset, has to be taken very carefully. It's very important during this particular time. Since Mercury rules over your efforts, your hard work, it may happen that you may feel that I have been doing the hard work a lot, putting my effort a lot, but I am not getting the results. Since it is turning retrograde, so it may happen that you may get the results a bit delayed, but you need to continue your hard work. So it may happen that during this particular retrograde, you may get a more good solution to it, that the things which you are doing, is it really correct or not. Okay, so this retrogression can actually give you a solution towards your efforts, towards your courage, your hard work in front of the challenges in which is coming in front of you in your life. So that's the reason the results may be a bit delayed, but you have to keep on doing your hard work. Okay, so that's it for the Aries ascendant people. For the Taurus ascendant people, Mercury happens to be your 2nd lord, Mercury happens to be your 5th lord, transiting through the 1st house and getting retrograde. So it may happen that any matter regarding to finance, wealth, family, or how you deal with your family members, or even with your partner, your spouse, your wife or husband, your business partners, because Mercury will be looking directly into your 7th house. Any matter regarding to these particular things may all of a sudden come in front of you, which you might have overlooked in the past. Any matter regarding to wealth or finance or family matter, any responsibility regarding those things may all of a sudden come in front of you, and you need to have more responsible outlook towards it. So it is very essential that since it is your 2nd lord which rules over your family, your finances, your wealth, so these particular things has to be taken care of very essentially, very nicely. Any kind of extra expenditures or spendings has to be stopped during this particular retrograde motion, because it may happen that during this retrograde motion any past things may come in front of you, and you need to be much more prompt regarding this. Since Mercury is your 5th lord and 2nd lord transiting through the 1st house, it is also creating a Dhan Yoga. It means any kind of incoming of wealth which you had been waiting for in the past, it may happen that if the relevant dasas are going on, then you might get that wealth back in your life by this retrogression of Mercury. Since it is your 5th lord, during all those things which may have been happening in your life, you will be able to learn new things, such that in your future that will be helping you out with respect to your wealth, finance, your family, and how to deal with other people. You will be able to learn new things. Since it rules over your 5th house and it is transiting through the 1st house, it is also a good transit for learning new type of things. Like suppose if you are a student, or even suppose if you are thinking for higher studies or any kind of new course on new studies, then this is a very good time that you have been thinking for it but you didn't get time to start it. This is a good time that you can be giving more of your time to learn new things. It may also happen that during this particular time any past relationship may come in front of you. Any past romantic relationship may come in front of you. It will be solely upon you that through your wisdom how you tackle those things, because it may happen that out of hurry you committed towards a relationship, and later on you may feel that this was not meant for me. Because don't forget, this Mercury will be direct also one day, so you need to be very careful regarding your love relationships, because Mercury is your fifth lord, looking into your house of relationship, seventh house. Suppose if you are already in a relationship, then you need to be very much careful regarding how you communicate between you and your partner. Any kind of matter related to your relationship may all of a sudden come in front of you, where you need to take the responsibility to solve it. So you must be very much crystal clear regarding how you are dealing with your partner and how you are dealing with your relationship. That is very essential for this particular Mercury retrograde in your first house. For the Gemini ascendant people, Mercury is your Lagna lord itself. Mercury is your fourth lord, and this retrograde is going to happen in your 12th house. So it means you need to be extra careful regarding your health matters. You need to be more careful regarding your health. Like suppose if you are already going through any kind of health issues, then during this retrogression of Mercury, you need to be more careful of that. Any kind of healthy practices during this particular retrogression of Mercury will be beneficial to you. Healthy practices with respect to your health, healthy practices with respect to your lifestyle, everything matters, because it is the 12th house of loss. It is also the 12th house which deals with subconscious energy, subconscious mind, subconscious thoughts. So that means this can also impact your sleeping pattern. It can also impact your means how you are stabilizing yourself. Means you may feel that I may take an hour of rest, but it may happen that you just wasted your 1 hour just laying down in the bed, and you are not after 1 hour you may feel that I am not getting the rest, my 1 hour got wasted. Okay, so you need to be very careful regarding this kind of situations also. Means you need to focus, you need to have a complete focus, that the things which you are analyzing and the things which are really actually happening, you need to have a balance between that. Since Mercury is retrograding and Mercury is your fourth lord also, it may happen that if you are away from your home and it is retrograding, so it may happen that you may get a chance to have a new communication between you and your family, your home, your mother. And it is also a chance that you can take up a space for yourself within your home only, to learn new things, and a time and space for your solitude. Now, since 12th house deals with some kind of energies which are spiritual, which are not of this particular realm, which is away from this realm, and Mercury is the planet of basically logical intelligence, which is totally different from that spirituality. So this particular retrogression can give you all of a sudden kind of anxieties, restlessness. Means it is not the restlessness which is happening in the real life, it is going inside the head, the brain. So it is very essential that how you are putting forward your thoughts. This can also impact your happiness index also, peace of mind basically. So it is very essential that if you are getting chance to set a communication between you and your family, then you must spend some time with your family during this particular time, because you will be also able to find some time for your own self also during this particular retrogression, if you want to, your own time of solitude and isolation. So two types of energies will be going on at the same time. It is up to you that how you are choosing the best for you. Another thing, since it is transiting through the 12th house, there is a chance of miscommunication. Stay away from miscommunication. Anything which you want to convey it directly. Don't hide anything. Don't expect that the person will understand you. You have to explain it. Okay, and that's the reason, because that can lead to some kind of miscommunication between you and your family members also, at your home also. That's the reason I said that if you want, you will be able to get some chance to set a contact with your family members also, and at the same time you will be able to also get a time for your own solitude and isolation. Okay, so you have to make the best out of it. So that's it for the Gemini ascendant people. For the Cancer ascendant people, this transit is going to happen in your 11th house, and Mercury rules over your 12th house, Mercury rules over your 3rd house. This means your communicational abilities, your spiritual thoughts, any kind of thought process which relates to something different, something which has got more of imagination, that kind of energies will be much more high during this particular time for the Cancer ascendant people, because it will be transiting through the house of gains in the 11th house, so it will be more. So how you communicate, how you interact with your network circle, with your friends, with your team members, with your project members, more specifically if you are working at a very high organization or some multinational company, so these things will be much more important. So your communicational and behavioral abilities will be tested during this particular time. Or suppose you had communicated something with your team members or your network circle in the past, that kind of things can all of a sudden come in front of you, that where you need to reanalyze the facts, that what type of information you conveyed and what type of information you received at your end. Okay, so these are the things which has to be checked very much carefully. That means you need to be very careful regarding your communication regarding this particular time when this retrogression is happening, or any kind of documented work, or any kind of finance related work, any kind of paperwork which you are working through with your team members, with your network circle, has to be very much done with some more carefulness, I will say. You need to be more careful, care about that. Another thing is that since Mercury happens to be a 12th lord getting retrograde in the 11th house, so it may happen that any kind of incoming of wealth or gains which had been delayed in the past, which relates to any kind of office or company at some foreign place or far away place. It can be a multinational company also, it can be your foreign clients also. All of a sudden those things can be cleared off, and you may have that incoming of wealth and gains from that foreign client. Okay, now this will depend upon the relevant dasas, but chances are there that that if that dasas are going on, then those things can come in front of you, and you may get the incoming of wealth from the foreign, or that foreign client, or that faraway place. Okay, another thing is that since Mercury rules over your 12th house, getting retrograde in the house of gains in the 11th house, you need to be also be very careful regarding your sleeping schedule, or the time when you are spending for your rest, for your means how you are stabilizing yourself. Okay, because it may happen that during this particular time your sleeping schedule may be a bit disturbed. Okay, this can be a problem for you. Okay, one good thing which I can see here is that it will be looking into your 5th house. So that means any kind of creative skills which you had but you might have ignored it in the past, you will be having a very good opportunity to work upon it. That will also help you through your communicational skills. You can work upon it, and if you work on it, then it can also bring a lot of gains in your life. That is what this transit of Mercury in the retrograde motion in the 11th house for the Cancer ascendant is going to disclose. Okay, so that's it for the Cancer ascendant people. For the Leo ascendant people, Mercury is going to turn retrograde in your 10th house, and Mercury rules over your 2nd house and your 11th house. Mercury is basically a very important planet with respect to your finance and wealth is concerned for the Leo ascendant people. It means that any kind of matter related to wealth and finance which you are expecting to have through your work or through your source of livelihood or whatever work you do at any office or company you are working for, or whosoever your superior is, you are working any work at your work environment and you are expecting that certain kind of gains can be obtained in your in this particular time period, then I will say that it may get delayed. It may happen that you are expecting this particular thing to happen but it is not happening. That means this retrogression of Mercury is indicating that you need to continue your hard work, you need to continuously put your efforts without any mistake. It may happen that you need to recheck your documents, your paperwork, or any kind of work which you do at your workplace, which can also show you some kind of mistakes which you had committed in the past, which may be the reason for the delay of the award or reward which you are expecting at your office or at your work front. So it may be a time to recheck regarding your work or any kind of your decision making or your implementation of your work at your work environment, or how you are dealing with your colleagues, your co-workers, or your superiors or authorities in the past specifically has to be checked. And during this particular time also, when you are in this Mercury retrogression is going to happen, because Mercury rules over your 2nd house, your speech, your wealth, your family matter, everything has to be taken into account. And this particular thing can bring some kind of different kind of energies at your home, because Mercury is the 2nd lord which deals with family. Mercury will be looking at your 4th house at your home, so this can also bring some kind of disturbances or anxiety at your family life, at your home life also. Okay, so you need to constantly put your efforts, your hard work in some disciplined manner, and try to rectify the mistakes which, if you come over or if you come across, then that will give you much more better results in the future, because that is that this Mercury retrograde is going to teach you. For the Virgo ascendant people, Mercury is the Lagna lord itself. Mercury is the 10th lord, and this retrogression is going to happen in your 9th house. So by the placement of Mercury in the 9th house as the 1st lord and 10th lord is a wonderful placement, I will say, because it is creating a Raj Yoga and Dhan Yoga at the same time. So depending upon certain dasas, this particular retrogression of Mercury can bring huge amount of prosperity for you, depending upon certain dasas. Now suppose if you are thinking of any kind of relocation with respect to your job, or suppose you are thinking that I should be going to some other place with respect to my work or career or profession, so due to this retrogression it may happen that it may get a bit delayed. Or suppose if you had already applied for it but you didn't get any result, so by the virtue of this retrogression you may get a good, some kind of good news with respect to this retrogression with your work sector. Okay, so this retrogression can bring some kind of delay if you are thinking about it, and if you have already worked upon it in the past but didn't get any result, so this retrogression can give some kind of goodness for you. Okay, anything which you want to learn with respect to higher knowledge, higher wisdom, spiritual knowledge, religious rites, religious rituals, customs, anything related to ancient scriptures, dharma, righteousness, will be done appropriately during this particular time, because you will be able to do it, you will be able to start it again with proper discipline, with proper knowledge, logical and analytical reasoning. Means you will be feeling that yes, should I start it or not? Yes, During this particular time you will be able to get the proper chance to start it, to do it. Okay, it may happen that if you are thinking that should I go to that religious place or not, you had been thinking in the past but you didn't get any chance. Okay, so during this particular retrogression you may get a chance, again a chance, to visit any religious place, or you may get communicated with any kind of spiritual communities, law, philosophy, anything which you want to restart as a knowledge to study, you will be able to start it. Another thing, since Mercury is the first lord transiting through the 9th house, so it will also improve your intellect, it will also improve your name, your fame. Since Mercury is retrograde, so it may happen that you have to be much more disciplined and focused towards it. Okay, that will give you much more better results. Mercury will be looking into your 3rd house, so that means any kind of hobby, any project where you are putting your efforts, but there might have been some kind of discrepancies within that, so that kind of things will again come in front of you and you need to work upon those things. Like suppose any project which you need to give more focus but you didn't give, so that kind of things can again come in front of you, or any kind of hobby which you wanted to start but you couldn't. This retrogression of Mercury will help you to start it, means in a much more better manner. Okay, for the Libra ascendant people, this retrogression of Mercury is going to happen in the 8th house. Mercury happens to be your 9th and 12th lord. 12th lord of spirituality coming in the 8th house, becoming retrograde, it is a good transit, I will say, because it will actually help you to learn the spiritual stuffs more better, follow the spiritual wisdom in a much more good way, I will say. Suppose if you wanted to learn anything related to occult science, spirituality, or spiritual knowledge or wisdom, it is a very good time. Since Mercury is your 12th lord transiting through the 8th house in the retrograde motion, and it happens to be a 9th house lord also, so I will say here that it is also a time to take care regarding your health also. Since it is Mercury, it will be allowing you to learn deep dark knowledge also, any knowledge which is related to secrets, any knowledge which is not coming in front of in the surface. So this retrogression can help you to learn those things, to know about those things. Any information which was hidden to you, all of a sudden you can know it. Since it is your 9th lord retrograding in the 8th house, so it may happen that you may temporarily feel that the amount of luck and fortune which I must experience, I am not experiencing up to that level. So it may happen that you need to do your work through your hard work. So all of a sudden you are not going to get any miraculous result through your 9th house perspective, because Mercury will be 12th from its 9th house, so it is in the 8th house, it is your 9th lord, 12th from itself. So it may happen that all through your hard work you have to achieve the things. Since it is the 8th house energy, it also deals with the fact that you have to follow proper righteousness and dharma. You cannot go away from dharma, because Mercury is retrograde. If you follow any work away from dharma, away from righteousness, then that can be really difficult on you. So you need to be very careful regarding whatever work you do. It should be appropriate. Mercury will be directly impacting your family house. It will be looking into your 2nd house of speech, wealth and family. It will be transiting in the 8th house of marital life, your in-laws. So your joint asset and fixed asset all will be impacted by this Mercury. So that means whatever you say, how you interact with your family members, how you take decisions regarding your wealth and finance has to be taken care of very, very cautiously. So I will say this is not a time to take any major decision regarding your wealth and finance. Although Mercury is your ninth lord looking into your second house, but still it is in the 8th house and it is retrograde. So I will say it is not a good time to take any major decision regarding your wealth, be it joint asset or fixed asset. In fact, it is a time to retrospect the things with respect to your wealth, your family, your in-laws. So when we are communicating between you and your family members or your in-laws, you need to be very careful regarding how you are communicating or how you are expressing your thoughts and behaviors. Okay, it is very essential because Mercury rules over speech and looking into the house of speech, second house. So that's it for the Libra ascendant people. For the Scorpio ascendant people, Mercury rules over your 8th house and 11th house, and Mercury is going to transit in the retrograde motion in the 7th house of marriage. So I will say it is a very important transit because Mercury happens to be your 8th house lord and 11th lord transiting in the retrograde motion in the 7th house. So that means any matter related to marriage all of a sudden may come in front of you, which can lead to some unnecessary quarrels or disputes or even arguments. So any matter which might have happened in your past all of a sudden may come in front of you. You need to be very careful regarding that. Because why it is important? Because initial 1 week till 17th of May, Mars will be aspecting Mercury. So Mars is influencing Mercury, and here, so it may happen that your speech, your communication can be much more fierce and harsh. Since it is your 8th lord, so 8th lord transforms. It creates problems, obstructions. So that is also in the house of relationship, in the marriage, in the house of marriage. So I will say it is very essential for every one of you, for the Scorpio ascendant people, that any matter related to spouse, health of the spouse, relationship, business partnerships, legal bindings has to be taken care of very carefully, very essentially. Any new kind of contract has to be avoided during this particular time. Don't go into any kind of new contract, don't go into any kind of new legal binding as of now till Mercury is retrograde. It should be avoided. Any matter which can lead to miscommunications has to be avoided. In fact, you can use this retrogression energy with respect to solving of new problems. You can discuss it with your spouse and solve the problems out. That will give you much more better results. Since Mercury rules over your 8th house and Mercury rules over your 11th house, transiting through the 7th house in the house of relationship, so it may happen that all of a sudden a new kind of negotiation or proposal of relationship may come in front of you. But you need to be very much wise, very much focused regarding that whether you should take that proposal or not. And if suppose if you are already in a relationship, then you need to be much more committed towards your present relationship, your married life, towards your spouse. That will give you much more better results. Okay. Another thing, since Mercury happens to be your 8th lord looking into your first house, you need to take care regarding your own health also. Okay. Because if you are taking care of these particular things, that will give you good results. If not, then that can also lead to miscommunications, arguments, anxiety, stress, unnecessary things. Okay. This can also lead to some kind of insecurity in relationship also, fear in relationship. Okay, it can bring unnecessary insecurities. Okay, so that's it for the Scorpio ascendant people. For the Sagittarius ascendant people, this transit of Mercury is going to happen in your 6th house, and Mercury happens to be your 7th lord. Mercury happens to be your 10th lord. Now, when we talk about the 7th lord transiting in the 6th house, I will say that also in the retrograde motion, you need to be very much careful regarding your family, marriage, your relationship matters, specifically marriage matters. anything related to your spouse or how you communicate with your spouse. Stay away from miscommunication, stay away from any kind of disputes, because 6th house also deals with disputes. And here Mercury means communication, 7th house means spouse. So that also in the retrograde motion, that means any kind of past events may all of a sudden come in front of you, that can lead to some kind of arguments or disputes. So you need to be very careful regarding that. If possible, try to avoid it. Take care regarding the health of your spouse. That will not only give you good results but also give you good results with respect to the relationship also. Take care regarding the health of the spouse. Any matter regarding what he needs, what she needs, take care regarding that. That will give you good results. Okay. Since Mercury rules over your 10th house also, transiting through the 6th house, so it will be good with respect to your work sector, your work arena. You will be able to learn new things due to the virtue of this retrogression. Stay away from manipulation, stay away from any kind of mutual jealousy or politics by the co-workers. Stay away from those things. In fact, this Mercury will give you the proper logical and analytical intelligence to work upon, to learn new things and get success in professional career, and means how you deal with your professional matters. This can also give you a good chance to make your relationship between you and your superiors a bit better due to this retrogression. Means you can rectify your past discrepancies, you can rectify your past mistakes and bring a new beginning at your work. So that is the reason, stay away from any kind of politics, work based politics or jealousy from your co-workers. Stay away from all those things. Do only the work which is actually essential, not more than that, not less than that. Okay, by that way you will be able to get more better results for this retrogression of Mercury in the 6th house for the Sagittarius ascendant people. For the Capricorn ascendant people, Mercury is going to get retrograde in your 5th house. Mercury happens to be your 6th lord, Mercury happens to be your 9th lord. Now 6th lord transiting through the 5th house in the retrograde motion, I will say here it means many things. First of all, it is good for your health because 6th lord transiting 12th from itself in the retrograde motion. It also determines that any matter related to your education, related to your creative skills, related to your intellect has to be taken care of essentially, because 6th lord is transiting through it. It means that you need to put more hard work, you need to face more challenges in order to get best of the best results for it. Take care regarding the health of your progeny and children during this particular transit. Now Mercury happens to be your 9th lord also, transiting through the 5th house. It means this is an wonderful time to have higher education. Suppose if you are thinking that should I start this study or not, should I take up this creative talent or not, should I take up this hobby or not, or might be suppose if you are a good writer, suppose if you are a good at your writing skills, your communicational skills, means anything related to Mercury. Suppose if you are a orator, philosopher, teacher, even if you are a student, this retrogression of Mercury will be able to teach you so many things. Only you just need to open your mind, just need to learn it. This Mercury will be able to help you out. It's a wonderful transit in that way, I will say. Since Mercury happens to be your 6th lord transiting through the 5th house, during this particular time, if you are coming across any kind of love or romantic relationship, then I will say you need to be very much careful. Specifically, it is in the retrograde motion, so you need to be very much careful. It may happen that all of a sudden you communicate with a person, you get in relationship with that person, and later on you may feel that yes, that is creating disturbances in your life, that is creating problems in your life. So you need to be very much careful that if you are 100% sure about that, then only you should go for it. Otherwise, take some time. take some time, delay it a bit, then that can give you much more better results. If you work upon your creative skills, your intellect, the things which you know, the things which you can be much more better about, then this Mercury transit will be giving you much more better results in the future, because it will be looking directly into your 11th house of gains. Okay, so it will give you better results in the future. So that's it for the Capricorn ascendant people. For the Aquarius ascendant people, Mercury transit is going to happen in your 4th house. Mercury happens to be your 5th lord, Mercury happens to be your 8th lord. Now, since it is transiting through the 4th house, so the first thing is that you need to be very much careful regarding your happiness index, your peace of mind. Any matter regarding your home, all of a sudden may come in front of you which needs your attention, which needs your responsibility to be taken off, because it is your 5th lord. So that means any management related issues, anything which requires planning may come up at your home, at your homely environment. Now that can be related to renovation of home, that can be related to your staying at home, means how you are staying, how you are making up of your peace of mind, your happiness, or anything related to your luxury, anything related to your convenience, all of a sudden may come in front of you, which can ask for your attention, your planning, your management. This is also the time when you need to be much more careful regarding the health of your mother. Take care regarding the health of your mother. It is a wonderful time to spend more time with your mother. More you spend time with her, that will be much more better for her. Why take care regarding her health? Because Mercury happens to be your 8th lord also. Since it is your 8th lord transiting through the 4th house in the retrograde motion, take care regarding the health of your mother. That will be much more better for you. That will also bring happiness at your home. This Mercury is looking into your 10th house, so it means anything which you like to do, which you like to talk about, or anything related to your intelligence, your creative skill, your creative talent, which you can express much more better than anyone else, you can take up those things at your work sector also, or you can start a new journey at your career or profession with those things. Now obviously relevant dasas has to be checked, but you can definitely start that, because Mercury is your 5th lord for the Aquarius ascendant people and looking into your 10th house of profession from the 4th house. So you can restart your creative skills and apply it at your workplace. That will give you not only job satisfaction, but also give you pleasure and joy at your work. Okay, so that's it for the Aquarius ascendant people. The Pisces ascendant people, Mercury happens to be your 4th lord, Mercury is your 7th lord also, transiting in the retrograde motion in the 3rd house. So that means it is directly impacting your communication skills, means how you are conveying your thoughts and how you are receiving the informations from the people of immediate environment, or from your communicational channels, your social media channels, your social networking. So that means during this particular time you need to be very careful regarding how you are conveying your information with your people, any kind of people with your daily contact, or in your social media networks also. You need to be very much careful regarding what you are speaking, how you are conveying your thoughts, what you are communicating. Any matter which you might have communicated in the past, or you conveyed the information, or you talked about, or regarding your hobbies, regarding any kind of projects which you are working through, that may all of a sudden come in front of you. You need to rectify it, you need to work upon it. It may had happened that you might have missed something in the past, that all of a sudden coming in front of you, and you are working on that. So if you are already thinking about it, and this particular retrogression of Mercury is taking place, then it will give you an insight that how to look into those discrepancies and rectify it, so that it can give you better results in the future. Okay, another thing, In this particular retrogression, suppose if you are not careful about your communication or what you are speaking, then that can bring some kind of problems. You need to be very careful regarding your efforts, means what kind of efforts you are putting. Okay. Secondly, how you are conveying your thoughts. You need to be very careful regarding that. Another thing, since Mercury is fourth lord transiting in the third house in the retrograde motion, so it may happen that suppose if you are far away from your home, or suppose if you are traveling to some place, it may happen that you may get a chance to come back to your home. Or if you are thinking that you are doing any kind of short travels, if you are thinking to do any kind of short travels, then it may get delayed. So I will say that if you are planning for any kind of movement at this moment of time, then you need to delay it for some time. You should avoid it. And suppose if you are already moving or you are already away from your home, then due to this retrogression you may get a chance to come back to your home. Okay, so this kind of things can happen. Another thing, Mercury is your seventh lord transiting in the third house in the retrograde motion. So your relationship, spouse and communication is impacting. So that means you need to be very much careful regarding when you are communicating between you and your spouse. Means how you are dealing with any kind of relationship matter between you and your spouse. Okay, so that is going to be very much important. And since it is your seventh lord retrograding, so take care regarding the health of the spouse also. That will be much more better for your married life or for your relationship. That will give you much more better results. Another thing, Mercury is looking into your ninth house. So that means during this particular time, if you are thinking to start something new, means learning wise, higher education, then you will be able to start it, you will be able to do it. Any kind of new hobbies, means which you might have thought in the past but couldn't start it, you will be able to do it, you will be able to start it. So in that way this Mercury will be able to give you good results. Okay, make the most out of it. So that's it for the Pisces ascendant people. And if you have liked this video, press the like button and share to your near and dear ones. Your comments are always welcome to me. And anytime if you want a consultation from me, check the links in the description section. You can mail me directly through my email ID and connect me through my Facebook and Instagram accounts. You will find the links in the description section. And if you are new to this channel, then tap onto the subscribe button, click onto the notification bell icon, so that every time I make a new video you get notified instantly. So that's it for today, and next time when I come back, I will be coming back with some another interesting video for all of you. So till then, I'm signing off for today. Thanking you. Bye bye.